So, what is Claude Projects? How do you make one and how do you use it? My name is Stephanie Book, and this is Flourish TV. This is where I share different tips and tools to help you in your business. So, if you're a beginner and you're starting new with AI, or you've used ChatGPT for a long time and you're like, what is this, Claude? My goodness, this is going to be the place for you. I'm going to try to teach you each week some tips and tools to help you as an entrepreneur to show up more authentically as you, but use the technology and the tools that we have in front of us to move forward. And I am not an expert, but someone that has been learning along the way. And I love being able to pass on ways of different tips and tools that I've learned to help you move forward to your next step and be able to show up the way that you want to so that you have more time to do the parts of your business that you love. And so I would love to invite you to join me here as we talk about a Claude project, what it's for, and how to create one so that you can really optimize your business and the time that you're using your Claude AI. So a few weeks ago, I shared about how you can build your own like brand voice document, and this way you can teach Claude, teach your AI tools all about you, about who you are, who you serve, your voice that you have, your brand, the colors that you use, and so much more. You want Claude to understand who you are so that the things that you put inside Claude for it to create for you are authentic to you, because you want to stand out as you. You don't want to have it the same as everybody else's content that looks like an AI generated caption or newsletter or whatever it is that you're doing. And so when you teach your Claude how to sound like you, your content that comes out, the different things that it spits out, it gets to learn who you are better, and it sounds more and more authentically like you. And so I am excited to share how to do this. So a few weeks ago, I went through and I shared you how you can make a brand template, so that a reference document that you can upload here into Claude or other areas that you use AI. So if you missed that, I will make sure I put the link in the show notes for that. And then since then, I created a template for you that you can go in. It gives you all the prompts and everything to give to Claude so that it can create for you, say, this is who I am, this is who I serve, and much more, so that you can build a document like I used, and I shared about. And I will try to pull that up here in a little bit as well. So today I want to tell you about how the feature inside Claude, which is called Projects. And once you set it up, your brand context is always there so that you don't have to go in every single time and update it and say, this is who I am and this is who I serve. And all that takes an extra time. And we want to be able to just go in and use the tool and not have to spend a lot of time pasting and take prepping every time we try to do something. And so this episode, we're going to take you everything from taking that brand document and giving some instructions so that you can teach Claude that it always has a place inside Claude, so that when you are doing something for that business, you will be able to go right into that project and it will have all that information that you spent so much time preparing it, and it will have that for reference so that it gets to know you more and more. And so we're going to jump into this, and I will um, show you exactly how simple it is. So, but I want to make sure that you understand. So, basically, what a project does is basically puts everything into one spot. So, it's like a dedicated workspace for your business. So, right now, if you just open up a conversation with Claude, it again, it's completely fresh every time. And so it doesn't really know who you are, your audience. I do think it starts to slowly learn who you are. I know ChatGPT, definitely knows who I am, and so I don't have as much priming that I need to do. But it also doesn't keep track of all those different projects and things that you're doing. And so you might say, "Hey, do you remember when we talked about such and such?" And it's like, I have no recollection of this, but then it will say what it knows about you. But if you put a lot of these things inside your project, it will always know what it is. And so you can always continue to update the project too as you have more information. And so it's like that dedicated workspace so that everything is in one spot and Claude knows exactly where to go and what to do. So that brand document, your voice, that gets to live permanently in the background. So it always will look at that information as it's pulling things out, as long as you enter into the project. And so it's kind of like the difference between having someone, you hiring someone temporarily, and then you got to teach them all the things, or you have someone that's already in your business, a VA or somebody that's been working and already knows the ins and outs. And it's like the difference between those two things. So I know that what I also love about projects is you can have different ones as well. So maybe you have several different businesses, maybe you do some network marketing, and then you also have coaching or different things like that. You can set them up different projects, or maybe have specific areas that you want to serve or do different things, or you want to have that set aside. You can do that. There's also something called skills. We'll talk about that another time, but for today I wanted to talk about projects, because I think with that brand document we created, this is going to be super helpful for you to be able to understand how to do this. So we're going to create a project together so that you can see it in real time, and I'm hoping that this will be will be helpful to you. It's very simple, and you can see how quick it is to do it. Now, I already created another document that I can. So I'm going to start from scratch, and we're going to build one together. But if you want to know how to build your own brand and reference document, that was in episode 1, and just put template below. Or no, what did I say? I said put brand below, and I will get you that free template so that you can create a document that's similar to like what I will show you here as well. So I'm going to share my screen here. Okay. And here, hopefully, you're seeing my screen. And I'm going to show you here. So let me come over here. Pause that for a second. Okay. I'm going to try to move this out of my way. So here, when you open up Claude, if you don't have Claude AI, Claude.ai, you'll want to do that there. You can have a free version. I do pay for the pro plan because I'm using it quite a bit, and I didn't like running out of credits. So I didn't like waiting. I was impatient, but you can do a lot of things with a free version. But here I'm not sure, I should have checked that, but I'm not sure if projects is part of the free version or not. But if it's not, you're going to want this after you see this. So when you first open up Claude, obviously you can come in here and you can start a whole new conversation. It's like I want to, maybe you're wanting to create some content. You can come in here and I'll show you the difference between the two with project and not. So what you want to do is you want to go over here on the left hand side and choose projects. This is a place where you are going to be able to create a project inside your Claude. And so I already hear this is the one I use, my Flourish business building and launching, and it has everything about my Flourish business inside there. And I continually will update it as you go. So we're going to create a new one so I can show you from start to finish. And so I remember what I'm calling this one, the Flourish content. So I'm gonna create a new project. So I'll hit new project and Flourish content. And that's what I'm just gonna call it a new. So I'm gonna say Flourish new project. There we go. Flourish content. Okay. And then you can put, wanting to create a template for my content creation. Sure. I don't know. It doesn't really matter what you put in there. That I used to think that mattered. That doesn't matter at all. Okay. So here, this is where it comes in. On here, once you start that project, it's called Flourish Content. Now we want to load that information into Claude so that it knows exactly what to look for. So over here, the first thing we're going to do is instructions. So we're going to come in here and say instructions. I did write this out already, so I will copy this in here so you don't have to watch me type. Copy. And so here I'm going to put in instructions. So click the little plus sign in here. And it says, you are a content assistant for Stephanie, founder of Flourish Inspire. And it says, always write in a warm, faith-forward conversational tone. Never use emojis, em dashes, or bolded headers inside social copy. Always write in prose rather than bullet points for social content. Lead with the problem or the story before offering the lesson or solution. Never use hustle language such as boss babe or grind, and encouraging content with warmth and a belief in the reader. When writing captions, always include a relevant hashtag line at the end. That one I don't know if I want in there, but hey, we'll leave it there for now. When unsure about the tone, err on the side of simpler and warmer. So we're going to save that. That's just kind of some general directions. Then this area here is where we can add files. This is where we are going to add our document. So if you watch the first episode and you made that brand and reference document, this is where you would load that in here. I created one for this, which is basically similar, but I wanted to start from scratch. And so I called it this Flourish Content Project document. So I'm going to load that in here. Let me open it up for you as well so you can see. Here, let me do it here so you can see my screen. Don't look at my unorganized. That's something else that Claude can do. It actually started organizing all of my, let me find it here. So Flourish. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to share this really quick. So this is what I'm sharing here. This is the Flourish Content Project. So this is the what I created. This is the document that I just uploaded in here, and Claude helped me write this as well. It was very easy to write this because I used within that Flourish branding document, and it was able to tell me different things. It has my catchline: you're worthy and capable of living a full and flourishing life. Success isn't just possible, it's meant for you. It talks about who my avatar is and all those things. Now, my brand document is very similar, but then this has different phrases and different things that I want, has my content pillars. All of these things are in my brand reference document as well. But all of this is specific for the timing when I do my YouTube videos, and my structure and things like that. So that is what I am loading in here. So let me go back to this one, share this tab instead. So now you see that inside this content, Flourish Content Project, I have put the instructions in there. And then I've also loaded the file, which is that document that I just briefly showed you, so that it has all of that reference in here. So now when I come into this, once we have this all done, now I will go inside. Let's say I opened up chat. So here's a new chat box. So let's say I'm starting a new one, and let me share this tab instead. Okay, so here's a brand new clean Claude page. Now, what I could go in now is I can take this prompt. So let's try this here. And it says, and I will have these prompts for you, and you would want to write this exactly. So I'm saying, okay, write me an Instagram caption for a faith-driven woman who feels scattered in her business and needs encouragement to keep going. Okay, so this is inside Claude without the project. And let's see what it comes up with. So let it think here. Okay, so see, it did grab a lot of my stuff. So it might not be so, because it does still learn who you are. But this is still really good. So it says, there are days when everything feels like it's moving in 10 different directions at once, and you wonder if any of it is actually working. Can I speak to that for a second? You're not behind. So it does really sound a lot like me. So this backfired on me the last time. It does start to get to know you a little bit better, but I promise you the one with the project is going to sound better. So let's now go over to the project, and let's choose this. Make sure it's all in there. Okay, yeah. So now let's go inside the Flourish Content one and paste that same thing. Write me an Instagram caption for faith-driven women who feel scattered in her business and need encouragement to keep going. Let's see if it's a little bit more like me and what it does. Okay. Okay, so it gave the hashtags because I asked for them because that prompt said that, which I'm going to take that out. But this is a little bit longer, and it says, and one of the things that I do see in there is it knows that I like to say friends or hey friends or so friends. So right away I'm seeing that here on so it runs a little bit differently. It's a little bit longer, which I'm probably a little bit more wordy. It says there is a specific kind of tired that comes from feeling like you are working hard and getting nowhere. You're not lazy, you're not behind. You're carrying more than most people can see, and you are still showing up anyways. I want you to hear this clearly. The scattered feeling is not a sign that you're doing it wrong. Sometimes it's a sign that you're right in the middle of something God is forming in you. See, it brought in that faith aspect. The in betweens is not wasted space. It's where the roots go down before anything grows above the surface. So, friend, if you pick this up today feeling like everyone else has figured out something you missed, I just need you to know that it's not true. You've not missed your window, you've not run out of time. You're right on time, even when it doesn't feel like it. And then, it goes on and on as you can see it. So, and then it ends with my, you're worthy and capable of living a full and flourishing life. Success isn't just possible, it's meant for you. It's been putting that on there. So I'm going to make sure that I let it know. I don't want that on the end all the time. And so I can adjust that into my document and it will fix that. And then it puts some of the, hashtags that I thought it was going to go well. And I don't use a lot of hashtags. They're not really as relevant right now, but I do use them on TikTok. So I'm hoping that this gives you a better idea. I can see how this second one, even though the first one was good, this one is closer to who I am, closer to who I'm speaking to, and so on. And so I think that's really cool. As you use these projects, you can really make sure that it is standing it's really matching the voice that you want to have as you are creating this. And that's why I love using the projects. And like I said, you can create as many as you want. So I can come in and create a whole completely different project. And what's really cool is I could go into this new one and say, maybe we want to add another file in there, or just say, maybe I could add in, let's see, what could I add? You can add in any other document. So as you continue to do this, you could go in. Let me stop share here. Okay. So as you're using this, you can go in and then continue to add more documents in there. Maybe there's a newsletter that you wrote, or maybe you have a book chapter that you created, or maybe there's a live that you did that sound really you loved what you said. You can start adding all of those different things in there. Maybe there was an email you wrote that you really liked and said, I would like my emails to sound like this, or whatnot. Whatever you want, you can start adding. You have a limit in there, but you can add a bunch more of those documents inside your project, so that the more that it knows you, the more references it has, the better. I even helped to create something where it has a whole health protocol, and there's all these different documents. There's some different, it gives a list of all the different products that the company has, and then some other, like a quiz of the different body signals and that you have. And then you can, there's a whole bunch of, like, I think there's 5 different documents that we added in, plus we gave it a full protocol. And so we were able to create that, and it turns out this beautiful document that summarizes once 120-page document about their scan and their health into a 3 to 4 page beautifully written summarized uh, uh, printout that someone you could give to the client, so that they could have the summarized information and not be overwhelmed by all that. And that was all done in the project. And so it reads all of that information, and you don't, every single time, you don't have to go in and paste all 5 of those documents and give all the explanation. It already knows that you step in, say, here is the new scan, here is their quit, here is their their form they filled out, and then boom, it will give them all that information, reading all that documents. You don't have to say, these are the products and this is what I recommend. It will put all that in together for them, because that project was created. And so the more that you start using the projects and understanding, and then we'll bring those skills in there too, it's really cool. So it will be able to use all of that stuff and make it very simple. And you're spending a lot less time adding all these different things. But then what I really like is, I already noticed that there are some things I want to change in that document. Like, I don't want that many hashtags. I'll tell it, I'll say, let's not put my tagline at the end of my content. Like, I think that's great for the end of a script, like I'm talking today, but maybe at the end of every single content, no, I don't want that. And so I will make those adjustments. And then from then on, Claude will say, nope, we don't want that anymore. She doesn't want that. Don't use that. Don't add hashtags. Don't say so friends all the time. Whatever it is we wanted to do. Make sure that maybe I would say, I want to make sure that the faith is always woven into this. Making sure, and I know that's one thing that's in the document, making sure that scripture that is suggested is within the context of the passages and stuff like that. Those are things that are important to me. So the more that you share with Claude inside that project, the better. So I hope that that helps, because if you created that brand document and you're wondering, well, what do I do with it now? And now you can create that project. And then every time you open up Claude, you can go to that specific project and you will have all of that information built in there. So make sure that you do that. Again, now, if you are completely confused about what to even tell Claude about who your brand is, I talked a little bit about that as well on episode 1. And I have a free, it's called the Growth Vault, and it goes through a whole series of questions. It's inside a beautiful Trello board that you can have that will help you map out and understand all those questions so that you know what to prime Claude with. If you feel like you're completely scattered and you don't even know what to tell it, you're like, I don't have brand colors, I don't have these things, this will help you do that as well. So if you would like that, just put Vault in the comments and I will get that to you. I am absolutely loving sharing this. So talking about Claude. So if there's some things that you want to know about Claude AI, maybe chat, I would love to be able to help you. Again, I'm not an expert, but the things that I'm learning, I'm trying to pass on to you because I've already noticed a huge change in the way that I've been able to do things. And I love how authentic and close the different things that Claude is providing for me. And, and I will go in and I will almost always, pretty much always, will completely tweak it or change it. It gives me a really good format of what I can do to, because I want to make sure that I'm always being authentic. But a lot of times there's very little that I need to change because I'm like, yep, that sounds like me. But that's because I've primed Claude with all these different things that I have said, the way that I speak. I'll take something like this audio and say, okay, here is a time where I taught about Claude AI. Please use this in reference when you're writing my scripts. And then it will have that. So that's what you can do with this, which is awesome. So because the more it understands about who you are, the more it will sound like you and it will save you some time. So goodness, I hope that this was helpful to you. I love, again, teaching about this. So if there's something that you want to know about Claude or chat or something else that you think that maybe I could be helpful teaching you, just let me know. Make sure you put that in the comments. And don't forget, if you want that brand template, put brand in the comments. And if you want some help with a little bit of knowing what to prime Claude with. If you look at that template and you don't know what to do, you can put Vault in the comments. And if you're completely like, oh my goodness, I just need some help altogether, I don't understand any of this, but I want to build a business or I just need some clarity, you can put just grab the link in the show notes once this is all uploaded. And I will have a link for a free application for a free audit, clarity audit call. So we can talk and see what's your next best step and how we can help you find out what that is. So friends, I hope this is helpful. Please pass this on to anyone that you think it would be helpful to. And just remember that you are worthy and capable of living a full and flourishing life. Success isn't just possible, it's meant for you. All right, take care.